triple the cost.
But you're gonna like handhold them through it.
Handhold them, yeah. It's gonna be
That's
inspection.
smart.
It's gonna be a scope of work done. We can put together like an estimated repair costs. You know, we'll do like one walkthrough.
So you're basically doing like a mini course for them,
kind of
on a house flip.
Yeah.
And you're only charging $750 for it?
Yeah, it'd be $750.
God damn, that's a steal.
Yep. So
if I could have had someone charge me $750 and walk me through my first flip so I didn't get nailed.
how many flips do you think it took for you to like truly know you're like being profitable with things?
Well, I started off not wanting to actually flip. They were like burrs that I ended up selling, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like intentions of actually like flipping them. So those were always profitable, right? Because I was burring them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really haven't had like a dramatic situation where I like lost my ass. I don't know if it's just because it's the price point of the type of houses.
So then, okay, let me ask you this: then, like, how much has your process changed, like from your first property you went into to where you're at? Like,
oh yeah, I actually have like a kind of an idea of what things cost. Before, my estimations were either astronomically low or astronomically high, and I think it was just a balance of a little bit of luck and just being really conservative at first, because I had to make sure those first couple were big wins because I was still teaching at the time.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need to make sure that we make money. So I probably passed on 30, 40 houses that we would have made money on.
That makes sense.
And I was the ultimate, I don't want to say tire kicker, but like, I was window shopping.
Yeah.
Like I was, you know, and then we started having a little bit of luck, and it was cool because I didn't have to take any of the money from the flips to live off of.
Because you're teaching.
Yeah.
So how much, like, how long was that, like, that overlap?
We started doing properties in 2013 when I first got hired in Brunswick. I bought my first rental property. I lived in it, house hacked the duplex, all that stuff. But like the flipping side of it was probably about a year or so of double lifing it.
Oh, okay. See, I was longer. Like, I was full-time in law enforcement when I started the inspection company, and it was probably like 4 years before I left. But
I had that 8-year run where I was like doing rental stuff, but not like volume, not trying to get into a volume flip game.
Yeah.
It'll actually be in April, it'll be 4 years since I quit.
Whew! Nice. Nice. I just hit 3 years actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like last week. I didn't think that until you said that. I think it was January 10th. Wait, what's the date? Yeah, 4 days ago.
And you got a full-on fucking inspection company, squad, team. Like that's amazing for 3 years. You know, like things you have to kick ass and things have to go right and a little bit of luck. But I want to say you make some of your own luck with how hard you work. That's been my thoughts on how things have went in general. But I feel like most people that have had luck have put in an uber amount of time that it was just above and beyond, right? Because you were working 40 plus hours being a police officer, then you're putting at least 20 in, you know, and your wife's like, hey, I'm over here. Hi.
Oh, it got to the point, like, I was doing probably more than that, like 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I'd be on like night shift. I'd work 6 P to 6 A. I would sleep from like 6:15 to like 9. I would go to an inspection. I would go to the gym, and then I would go work all night, and I would do that for like 2 or 3 days in a row. And so it got to the point, like, when I would have a day off in the police department, I would sleep like 13, 14 hours because I just had to catch up.
You were a better person than I totally cut working out. Totally just cut it out of my life.
Yeah.
When I was doing both, there was no physical well-being to my body, which was terrible.
I think that's how I kept my sanity, though.
Yeah, I probably should have done that. I'm not saying it was right what I did. I'm just saying good for you that I have that extra discipline.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been an interesting journey on things, for sure. And now, like I told you back in your office, I think like why you've done so well is like you've got your niche and you just like stick to it. And we're just now like we've finally just dialed in like who are our like ideal clients like on the investor side, and then also on like on the retail side with home buyers. So
I think your first time or newer flipper is really going to appreciate the service you give with the scope and the estimated what it should cost.
Yep.
So then they have an idea of when they're getting these bids, right? What they should be expecting from
At
these
least ballpark. Yeah, I mean, at least ballpark. Like, and I've got an investor that I've worked with quite a bit out of California, and turnkey property, and he didn't understand these bids he was coming back with, and he was like, I don't understand why we can't get this done for like $5,000. And I'm like, dude, there's 30 windows that need replaced. Like, you're double that in windows, man. Like,
There's no. Yeah, I mean, even if you got like you could probably get someone to do it for whatever price. But if you got like a legit company, let's say you're getting a good deal at $500 a window, right? You're still 15 G's.
Yeah, on windows. On just windows.
And you haven't even began to touch anything else there, which is crazy, I think.
And this guy, like when he came into the market, he came in like and tried to set the world on fire. So we had this like conversation. He had like 20 houses he was under contract on when he had this like, oh shit, I think I really underestimated my rehab budget. I'm like, yeah, I think you did. Yeah.
Did he bail on a bunch of them and lose earnest money, or what did he do?
I don't know. I know he cycled through a bunch of agents because he wanted them to kind of recoup some of this stuff back that he realized were, not good deals. They didn't quite pencil out like he expected.
Well, he was using just any old agent, right?
Yes.
He didn't find like one that was investor savvy or intelligent about it. He was just getting a paper writer or order taker.
Pretty much.
And it's okay to have an order taker as an agent, as long as you know what you're doing. But he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know the market, so he was just giving orders to someone, and they didn't know to tell him, hey, you might want to check this out. Which is, I have some agents I work with that I can just text them and I say, hey, I need an offer in. Here's my bid, and I need an escalation clause to this, and it'll be done within the hour.
Yep.
And they don't ask any questions, and I don't want them to ask any questions. I don't need them to ask any questions at this point. They know the drill. They're going to get paid to do it, and just do it. And that's a different case than wherever that guy was at. And then I have some agents that I will call and I will ask questions because they're more, especially that retail space we talked about, how I'm getting more into the homeowner, the $300,000 plus flip.
Yep.
I need to have those conversations. I need to talk about level of finish. I've had several investors come in and I don't want to coach or consult. Consult would probably be a good word, right?
Yeah.
Like Gary came in and consulted all my Wadsworth flip, gave me some ideas on layout and openness. Talked about that trust system they talked to you about.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like how.
And then he realized there's a second floor above us.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, there's a second floor. Yeah. Can't do that here. But that's cool.
Yeah, his work is high end for sure.
Yeah.
But it's, like you said, there's, you've got like this great niche built out, so there's going to be a learning curve as far as like,
100%.
What finishes to use, what is actually trending outside of just like the turnkey type.
Yeah, the
operation.
turnkey were white shaker cabinets, were laminate countertops. I've been finding these really good deals on stainless steel appliances the past month or two, but usually they're just white.
Do you go to the Lowe's outlet at all?
No, so Home Depot in Wadsworth is like my best friend. From the store manager to the pro desk, they have an aisle in the back that is just Steve Yoke stock. And we order 10 appliances at a time, and we order them every month, and they stock them right there. So they just have like it literally is like chained off. It's Yoke's aisle, like everything's stickered Yoke.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's really worked out great, and they deliver them too. So it's pretty nice in the fact that we can get them delivered, and I have a set of appliances there for $800. So I'm like, and I'm just getting base size, 18, 20 cubic fridges, standard electric stove. But like I said, they had a good deal on stainless steel appliances. I just bought 10 sets of stainless steel this month for $8,900, including tax.
What brand are you going with?
Just a base, like a Mahina.
Okay.
A 700 or whatever. Nothing. These are for the rental grade, For the other stuff, it's...
You're not going like Sub-Zero and Wolf?
What is that?
Oh, dude, the Sub-Zeros are like... it's a refrigerator, but the thing will last like 30 years. But it's like every bit of 20, 30 grand.
No.
For
I'm still wearing my Walmart hoodie, man.
Yeah. So, all right. So your process, like.
Well, I mean, I've never heard of these.
Oh yeah, no, dude. Well,
I'm
ask
gonna have to
Gary.
look 'em
Ask
up.
Gary. He'll be able to tell you. Like some of these, yeah.
Shit. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Process.
So like your process, because I'm just trying to see, you know, with this new kind of package we're putting together for investors. Like, you know, we're gonna do the inspection. We're gonna do a scope of work. We're gonna give them an idea on the repairs. We're gonna come in once and check on the contractors. Like, I know you said your project manager walks like the properties for you, but like kind of when you're vetting the deal, like going through the construction, like what are like the say 5 or 6 steps that you guys take?
I mean, I'll just walk you all through the process. I get a text or an email, call, whatever. Hey, we got a deal. Schedule the view, right?
Yep.
He goes through. He takes a picture of every room, every mechanical in the basement, every side of the house, and then I have a checklist of all the major items that need done. And he just says yes, it needs it. No, it doesn't. And then we have prices associated with each item, and then boom, that gives us the what we can do rehab wise.
Yeah.
And I just take the ARV minus my margin and minus the repairs. That's my max offer.
So it's pretty streamlined.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and negotiate with wholesalers for hours on end over $500. I just try to say, hey, here's my max offer. Or if they're new, I'll be like, are we playing the negotiation game, or do you want my max offer? And everyone always says they want my max offer, and then I give them the max offer, and they try to negotiate with me. I said, well, if you're going to play this game, let me start again. Then I offer them really low, and I'm like, okay, does that work? And they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? Could you imagine me giving you an offer for 45 and you start negotiating with me? And I'm like, I didn't know we were going to play the negotiation game. Let's start again. I said, hey, how's it going, Sean? I'm good for 30 grand. I'll close quick. No issues. 2 weeks, cash close, no inspections, no contingencies. I'll take it. And they're like, you just offered me 45. I said, well, I didn't know you wanted to negotiate when I offered 45. So now I'm negotiating with you. Can you do 30? And he's like, no, I said I wanted more. I said, well, I'm at 30. Where are you at?
Dude, that's great.
And then he's like, oh, 48. I'm like, all right, well, meet me in the middle then.
How often have you had a situation where somebody brings you a deal and you're like, all right, this works, and then you learn they don't even have it under contract? It's like, now you get their deal.
Did you say how many times today?
It's a daily. Or they're like, oh yeah, that works, and then I'm like, all right, well, I need to see the contract so I know what I'm agreeing to, right? Because like a lot of wholesalers are like, no, I'm not sending you the contract. I said, you want me to sign something and not know what you signed? You can have a delayed payment in there. You can have a this and that. So one of the shadiest things that have ever happened to me is I signed a contract to buy these 2 houses from this wholesaler, right? Same owner, and there was like this delayed payment that was in this agreement. But it was, the delayed payment was negotiated after I signed the assignment.
What? So did you see the original contract, or like how'd that play out?
Well, after 3 to 6 months, this guy saw me working at these properties, and at this point, I already sold the property again. And he's like, hey, when am I getting my extra 30 grand on each of those houses?
What?
So this guy got paid like normal, like the contract. Let's say it was like for 50, and I bought it for 60. So he got his 10K assignment, plus he got 30K on each house.
Oh my God.
And this homeowner, he was like trying to sue me, and I'm like, look here, dude, here's when I signed the paperwork, and then that's when I said I was buying the house for this, and then this guy signed this with you 5 days after it. So I had no knowledge of the situation, nor did I agree to it.
Title didn't catch any, like nothing caught it until.
Well, no, it was written in the paperwork that it was agreed upon delayed payment from said wholesaler. And he was going to try to sue me. I said, listen here, talk to the attorney. Here's where you're going to lose. But if you sue me, I will come back after you for my court costs and legal fees, because I am 100% in the right here and I did nothing wrong to you. And I'm like,
God.
And I showed him where I paid the full amount.
Yeah.
So he saw that I paid 60 grand. You know, so he's like, I know you paid him. I was like, well, then why do you want to do this? Like, you're not in the right. You got screwed by this wholesaler. That's who you should be going after.
We're at 487 Delmar in North Hill.
And who bought this?
This guy, Steve Yoke.
Well, on the outside, we used to have a garage there. It was falling over, no doors, and it just wasn't worth saving anything.
Yeah.
This one did have a new roof on it. We did put all new windows. We also resupported the porches on the outside with the new 4x4s. Let's go inside because it's cold.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you as an inspection right now. So, little bump outs right there in the roof.
Yes.
I've never seen that anywhere.
I don't know why that. I mean,
It's for airflow.
Yeah. I mean.
The
Oh,
only-
right here. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are actually good. So, like this style home, it's like the capes, bungalows. Anytime you have like the dormer situation,
There's
like,
no soffits.
yeah.
For airflow.
So they cut into I couldn't see what you're talking about because that ice
Snows,
buildup.
yeah.
But no, it's a way to add ventilation. Like so, when we go to a house like this, I expect to see mold in the attic.
100%.
It's almost always ventilation is the cause.
Yeah.
But on this here, when you have these like bump outs, it essentially is putting in almost like a soffit vent, like lower down, so you can get the airflow up top near the ridge.
Makes sense instead of using the boxes.
Yeah, when you've got the gable with just a ridge, it's like basically creating its own atmosphere. Like there's not any actual airflow. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I get it. We've never done it that way. I've always used like the vent boxes,
Yeah.
which aren't as great as what do you call it? It's like a soft vent ridge. Set number 2.
It's not getting any warmer, Steve.
See, my hands are like. Oh, there you go. I'll put them all on me.
So you haven't seen this at all, Sean?
Haven't seen it at all.
I haven't been here since we finished. So we obviously got new doors and plenty of locks. My fingers aren't working.
You got it.
Oh, okay. Good to go. All right, you want to go upstairs, downstairs here?
Let's go downstairs.
Downstairs, start in the basement.
Bottom up.
Roll the money's long.
That's right.
I do need to turn on the water valve for the cleaner. So we walk into the basement. What are you immediately looking for?
Foundation's everybody's biggest concern. So, especially like for the out-of-state investors, I don't know.
Huge.
You know, they've never, some have never even seen a basement, right? Yeah, we're good.
What are you checking on?
Steve just turned the water on, so everything's going through. The pipe's under pressure now. Most of the time in an inspection, we don't turn it on if the water's off.
Oh,
It's usually
yeah,
off for a
100%.
reason, and we'll get a surprise on the second floor, like a leaking sink that we come up to. So we just started going.
We didn't have a furnace in here. It was cold, so we turned the water off while I was getting installed.
Makes sense.
We don't worry about the freezing pipes. So foundation-wise,
Yep.
This is waterproofed, and you see the steel beams have been put in.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts?
Looks like a pretty good repair. I mean, the foundation stuff doesn't have to be as big of a deal as people make it out.
No, we replaced, in full transparency, we did replace some courses as well. So, and we put in glass block windows.
Did you guys excavate on the outside to do it, or?
It was just the top few layers,
Oh,
so
that's not bad.
it wasn't bad. It was only a few courses down.
Yeah.
I think we were 3 courses, so he might have hand done a little bit.
Yeah.
But this one thankfully wasn't a full rebuild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, it's just mostly foundation, and then this actually doesn't look too bad, but a lot of the HVAC guys, these joists get in the way of ductwork, so they'll
Zip.
yeah.
I feel like they're trying to create a little privacy down here. I really appreciate. Do you want to get this on there? This is good.
Yeah.
I really appreciate my basement guys trying to create a sense of privacy in the basement. I hate when I'm doing laundry and people get to look at me through my glass block window.
What? Yeah. That's pretty good.
Oh, man.
That's
I
pretty good.
turned to the left and saw that. I was like, man.
Yeah.
It's not Larry. I had to fire Larry. It's
No,
not Larry.
Steve, what happened to Larry?
I just saw somebody walk by, man. They could see me.
You could have seen me do my laundry through the glass block. It would have been really detrimental. Because usually, maybe you don't have a shirt on, you don't want everyone to see you. You're not quite in the beach bod mode. But
It is January.
It is January.
Walking season.
So Larry actually no longer is working for me right now. His wife was having some health issues, so it was a little too much for the current moment.
Ask people if they want to see Larry come back.
Do people want to see Larry come back? Let's run some clips of Larry work.
So I know you don't need an inspector now. You got your whole crew built out, but
Right.
in the beginning, how helpful would it have been to have the inspector come out, give you the report, scope of work, estimate on repairs, And do a walkthrough for you at some point to check on the guys.
Well, when I was teaching, it definitely would have been helpful because I couldn't always leave the kids.
Yeah.
I might have stepped in the hallway and took a few phone sales from Home Depot, but it definitely would have helped to have someone on a regular check-in, and I didn't have enough work to pay someone full-time to do check-ins.
Right.
So that would have been huge on helpful. That would have been very helpful. Huge on helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing that comes to mind when you talk about walking and like pre-inspecting it is I remember the one time, naive me, first time investor, early on investor, had galvanized lines.
Okay.
It sat for a long time. I didn't know what a galvanized line was.
Right.
Every house I've ever been in's always worked. So, needless to say, we finished the whole rehab. And I'd never tested the water because, when we started the rehab, we didn't have water on yet. It was getting turned on, and by the time we got the water on, it was demoed. So the water onto the meter, had the whole house completed. I couldn't get any pressure in my upstairs.
Was it the main line?
The main line was galvanized, and then the lines going in the house were galvanized. So I was getting some pressure downstairs.
Yeah.
So the street line wasn't closed, but then all my lines upstairs were toast. And I had the house completely finished.
Did you put up studs on that one, or did you?
No, we're to the studs.
Would have been easier.
It would have been easier to get to the lines at that point or notice it. But we rehabbed the whole house, and thankfully there was just a little bit of drywall repair. He was able to repair it. But I mean, it still cost me after the fact to take apart the drywall and put it back together. Thankfully, the guy took it easy on me. It didn't annihilate me.
That's the thing with like Northeast Ohio. A lot of people, they're not saying investors or they're buying in Northeast Ohio. They don't understand like these communities. I mean, like 100 years is the average age.
All these houses, yeah.
So, I mean, we're talking galvanized steel, original cast iron, maybe some knob and tube still.
Yeah.
Some of it. And so, I mean, yeah, there's just a lot like that you just kind of have to take into consideration.
Yeah. So, what do you trust more, knob and tube, or she's just a friend?
How old is a knob and tube?
100 years old.
Yeah, because like the stuff, the older knob. I mean, the stuff like early 1900s is it's bad, but like the stuff like into the 50s, it's not too bad. It's in not too bad shape.
So I leave a lot of knob and tubes behind walls because I don't
Yep.
know what's behind it. But if we see any like frayed or broken, we replace it. But typically it's in good working order. I'll leave it.
Yeah.
We'll splice into it. I'll run new lines for other stuff.
That's the issue you run into is the splicing.
Yes.
Or people just start like in the attic space, they'll have like a attic light spliced in with Romex and
Yeah.
put a bunch of like newspaper and insulation and all this shit over it that like you're just begging the attic to catch
For
on
fire, yeah.
at that point.
100%. So you never told me which one.
I mean, that's tough. Oof.
She is a friend, isn't she?
Yeah. I mean,
So she's a friend. He's trusted. She's just a friend.
yeah, I mean,
Sean, you've obviously walked a lot of turnkey properties, as every inspector always chuckles at that. But what's the difference between the ones that you've walked and the ones that are mine?
well, I mean, first off, just standing here in the kitchen, you've got your check sheet here. Quality control is definitely part of your process.
Has to be at this one.
This is great. Like just looking down at this, I mean,
It's two-sided too.
yeah, I mean, it's well, this is good. I mean, turnkey is like so subjective, right?
Oh,
Like,
very.
it's always like once a week I'm going to call from an investor who's in California, and they're like, "Hey, Sean, got this property under contract. It's in east side of Cleveland. It's only $50K. I think I could probably do just like $5, grand worth of work and whatever." And I'm like, "Dude, look, turnkey. Like, it might be turnkey plus like 30 or 40,000, right?
Mhm.
Like, especially like in Cleveland." Can you find some houses for 60, 70 that you can put a tenant in? Yeah, but you're going to run into, like, what kind of tenant do you want there?
Maintenance calls.
Maintenance calls, headaches with property management. And like just walking this, I mean, I would not feel bad about like my family living here.
Right. Yeah, we try to make sure try to create a brand or reputation in the Akron Camp community that like I live in a yoke property, they'll take care of any maintenance issues, and they come into a house that has standards.
Yeah.
As you see our check sheet.
Yeah, no, this is great. Like, I mean, this is something that, I think a lot of investors should do. And I mean, we've done probably 5 5,000 inspections as a company, this is the first time I've seen an investor have something like this sit down. So,
5,000?
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
I did not think you were going to say that.
Yeah.
It's a fuck ton of inspections.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So,
I got one.
All right, ready? Yep.
Yeah. What is the most un-turnkey thing you've seen in a turnkey property?
oh, dude. I mean, I just told you about a deal last week, and I was told that it'd be a great buy and hold, right?
Yeah.
And numbers didn't quite make sense, but I was like, all right, I'll walk it. They're like, pretty good shape, just need to remove some of the things, in the home.
The dead person?
Dude.
He sent me this deal and I passed on
A
it.
body sat in this house for 3 months and just like melted into the floor. And instead of cleaning it, somebody put a sheet over top of it.
Oh.
So, have you had to deal with hazmat removal? Because I haven't had to do that.
I didn't buy the property, I passed on it. I wasn't going to venture into hazmat.
Yeah, I mean,
So you don't buy every deal?
Contrary to popular belief, I do pass on some deals.
yeah, but I mean, the turnkey stuff, like, we've been told turnkey. You and I were talking earlier, like, just because somebody lives there doesn't mean it's turnkey.
Yeah.
I mean,
not everyone lives the same.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I've seen go into a house and there'll be people first off, they told me it was vacant. I had no idea there's even anybody in the home. Walk in, I see people sleeping on the floor, and then rats come running out of the room, literally over the people sleeping on the floor. And this was being marketed as a turnkey property. No furnace at all.
Do the rats pay rent?
The range, right, was just open. That's
just
what
heat
was
the house?
just heating the people sitting next to the floor. So, but that's what's being marketed as turnkey.
That's stellar.
Mostly in Cleveland. Sometimes you'll get some crazy stuff in Canton, but they've got their crazy inspections. But yeah, buyer beware if it says turnkey for $50K.
Yeah.
So now, Steve, you're going to ask one, and let's switch spots just to get a different background. I want you to ask, or let's go. Yeah, what do we have here?
Bedroom. I got 2 bedrooms and I got
Yeah, what's over here?
bathroom.
Let's go over here. Did you add the shitter? Or do you already have it?
Flush.
Oh, dude.
We're doing the flusher on this one.
Sean, how do you put that on the inspection report?
Dude,
That's 2 in a row for us.
do you?
I walked into my gift cards at John Newman yesterday. Someone took a shit in the urinal. Can't. Don't put that on my feet. What do you think about 3-piece cup surrounds? Better than the 5-piece glue up, right?
They're better than 5-piece. Yeah, I use 3-piece if I'm doing mine. It's a little easier to install. You don't have as many gaps and seams in it.
Yeah, just 2 boop, right?
Yep.
What do you think about windows and showers?
Hate them. Unless it's glass block.
There's a window here. It's gone now.
Yeah. We'll see just a standard. Somebody will literally put a vinyl window with a windowsill in the shower
all the time.
And I'm like, where do you think that water's going, guy?
Down the wall.
Down the wall.
Yeah.
Down the
So
wall.
we always take out windows, and then we side over them, do this little pocket J, insulate them. It's really funny when you catch someone that doesn't insulate them though, because you can see the daylight. You've seen that in a house.
Or we'll go to a house and we'll see a window on the outside.
Yeah.
We can't find it on the inside.
Yeah.
They didn't even do anything to cover it up whatsoever. So it's just a window to Narnia or something.
I think I would rather have the window to Narnia than have the window removed and no insulation in it, though, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
All right, so we just talked about this before we got here. You bought this property from my group.
Yep.
In October?
October 17th.
All right, so now we're January 14th.
Yep.
Let's run through the numbers. Purchase price.
Yeah, so purchase
Yeah,
price
okay.
I think was $43K. And then the sale price is gonna be $159, so
Okay.
we have it under contract for. And that rents wise is I project to $825 per unit, which I think is a little conservative. I think you can definitely get $850 to $875. But I always try to be conservative on numbers, that way it leaves room for growth, and if someone gets an extra $25 a unit, they love me. If they're short $25,
Yeah. That makes
so I
sense.
always try to be a little conservative on that. I do know we have several 2-bedroom 1 units in North Hill rented at $845.
Yeah.
So the $825 is really doable. Separate utilities, so 2 new furnaces, 2 new hot water tanks. Has 2 panels as well. So it really makes it so there's not a lot of onus on the owner.
Yeah.
Just the water bill.
Yep. We're doing around 120 inspections a month. Probably a third of that is investors.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
I've got people looking at everything from a 100-unit apartment building down to this year? You know, like Akron, Canton, single family homes. How often are you getting new inventory that people have available?
Last year we did 127 turnkey rental sales. Fully updated like this, 127 I think was the final count. So I mean we're new inventory every day.
Dude, that's the one thing I was telling you earlier, like I love about your business. Like you have your niche and you have like just dove really deep into your process and you're able to turn these out, you know?
Yeah.
Like I did, I think 14 or 15.
And that's a lot of properties. Like 15 is like the huge, that's doing one a month.
But I'm still like, I feel like still overwhelmed because I'm still doing the inspections, you know, and like dealing with some of the headaches of like getting the gas company out there and all that.
Enbridge!
So bad.
That's a gas company for those who don't know.
It's so bad, but like you've just got that in, you know, and it's like a machine.
I feel like the more we do, the easier every process becomes.
Yeah.
And I feel like that sounds like it's not true, but the more you do it and the more people you have doing it, the easier it is to get each facet hammered in.
Well, it sounds like you're learning, you know, like
Every day I learn something.
Yeah. What do you think your background as a teacher, like how much has that helped you with this? Like just communication, you know, talking to people, or like
I think you might be able to attest to this. So like the real estate world, I feel like everyone's a little bit they think their shit's like really, really like doesn't stink and like they're the best ever and they're gonna like pound their chest and whatever. I try to come from a different like mentality about it. You know, being an educator is all relationship based.
Yep.
So I try to create those relationships. Like I still have the first contractor that flipped my first house. Still works for me today.
What?
Yes. And he's been doing a house every 3 to 4 weeks. Turns out a house.
Wow.
Since the day I met him.
Yeah, and you take good care of him.
Yeah, I pay him every time he turns his invoice. It's paid.
Yeah.
The work's done though. So I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He's like, Steve, I've been in the game a long time. He's like, I used to flip. I just do work for you now. He's like, it's great. I do the work. There's always a house. You pay me every week.
Does he have a whole crew, or is it just
him and 2 guys?
Oh, and they can do like how long would it take them to do this house?
Well, this is a duplex. You have the 2 kitchens, 2 baths. It'll probably take them 4 weeks.
So how many contractors do you have on a daily, like Monday through Friday?
I mean, 100 plus people work for me. So I mean, we have 17 interior rehab crews that work on properties, and those are all 2 to 4 man crews.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, we have a full-time window install crew.
Yeah.
Every day he's doing a yoke property window. As you can see by all these nice windows up front. Metal wrapped and all, baby. And then we have 2 HVAC guys that install furnaces every day.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 roofing crews, 2 siding crews. So we definitely have hundreds of people, you know, working for us. One of my favorite quotes from Bo in my PM office, he's like, you literally feed hundreds and house thousands of people.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it like hit me kind of. I was like, wow. Like when you started this, you know, you had 1 crew and I had 1 secretary. It was my first hire. She did everything. She cleaned, she answered the phone, she did the emails, she paid the bills, she leased the properties out.
Well, I think just like the more I've got to know you, the one thing that really stands out to me is like you definitely take care of everybody. Like,
Try, man.
Even on your referrals, like we were talking earlier, like you give Steve a referral, you keep getting paid on referrals. So Steve isn't just stealing clients, and that's, I mean, almost unheard of. Like, listen,
No one else does it.
love the investors I work with, most of them, but like that just isn't something that I don't think any other investors do.
No.
You know, so just try to capture the client and cut out the middleman to just increase that margin.
It's a short-term mindset.